benediction upon me by opening his lotus eyes. He can uplift the entire cosmic creation and remove our dejection by kindly speaking his directions. Purport. The Lord is ever increasingly merciful upon the fallen souls of this material world. The whole cosmic manifestation is a chance for all to improve themselves in devotional service to the Lord, and everyone is meant for that purpose. The Lord expands himself into many personalities who are either self-expansions or separated expansions. The personality of the individual souls are his separated expansions, whereas the self-expansions are the Lord himself. The self-expansions are predominators, and the separated expansions are predominated for reciprocation of transcendental bliss with the supreme form of bliss and knowledge. The liberated souls can join in this blissful reciprocation of predominator and predominated without materially concocted ideas. The typical example of such a transcendental exchange between the predominator and predominated is the Lord's Rasa Leela with the gopis. The gopis are predominated expansions of the internal potency, and therefore the Lord's participation in the Rasa Leela dance is never to be considered like the mundane relationship of man and woman. It is rather the highest perfectional stage of the exchange of feelings between the Lord and the living entities. The Lord gives the fallen souls the chance for the highest perfection of life. Lord Brahma is entrusted with the management of the complete cosmic show, and therefore he prays that the Lord bestow his blessings upon him so that he may execute its purpose. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurāngī Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pāchyate Deshitarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vayevacha patita nama pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. So, Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Canto 3rd, and as we know, Srimad Bhagavatam presents in front of us three important tattvas, or the truth which define our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and also define our goal, and also the process through which we can attain our goal. Unless the goal is clearly defined, we cannot decide the path which we want to take. So that's why these prayers, when we read the prayers in Srimad Bhagavatam, these prayers gives us the insight view of the heart of a devotee and how should a devotee should be praying in front of the Supreme Lord. Prayers is a method or a way to connect with the Supreme Absolute Truth. And the prayers, the ability to pray comes through the mercy of Supreme Lord only. As we know in the story of Dhruv Maharaj, he was a 5-year-old boy, and he went to the forest and he was just chanting a mantra which was given to him by his spiritual master Narada Muni. But when the Lord Prishnigarbha, he came in front of him, he was bewildered. He did not know what to say. But the Lord, he gave him the power to speak the Vedastuti, or the prayers to glorify the Lord, which are given in the scriptures. So only by the mercy of the Lord, the prayers a devotee can pray. And here we can see Brahmaji is praying to the Supreme Lord in the entire chapter. But specifically in these verses, verse 22, 23, 24, Brahmaji is making a request from the Lord. And we can divide these requests into different parts. Like Brahmaji in 22nd, he was praying that, Lord, please be merciful to unto me and empower me with the power of introspection. Brahmaji is praying to the Supreme Lord about that. And we have discussed this shloka in detail. And 23rd, Brahmaji said that, please give me the power that I never get materially affected by my own works. I think someone needs to be muted. Okay, thank you. So Brahmaji prays that he never get materially affected by his own works, and he may be able to give up the false prestige of being a creator. Now, Brahmaji, he is on the position where he is going to give the, where he is going to again give the bodies to the different living entities and place them into the, again, into the 14 planetary system based on their karma and swabhava, right? On their fruitive activities and the nature or the mode of nature in which they left their gross body, right? Now, this Brahmaji, he is praying that in the process of creating secondary creation, in the process of doing secondary creation, I am really afraid that I may get the false prestige of being the creator. So Brahmaji wants to act as an instrument in the divine plan or the divine desire of the Supreme Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, right? And we have learned in our previous discussions that what it actually means to be an instrument in the service of the Lord. An unanimate object like a pen, like this crayon, right? Where in this we see there is no life, no desire, and no symptoms, right, of any kind of consciousness. So we can use it as our as an instrument. But how to use a living being, a living entity who has his desires, who has his consciousness, and who has his aspirations, right? How to use, how that living entity can become an instrument in the plan of the Lord. So here comes the important point, that a living entity who wants to please the Lord, he acts as an instrument by voluntarily accepting the services which is favorable to the Lord. And thus a living entity acts as an instrument in the plan of the Lord. Just like Arjuna. Arjuna in 1133, I guess, that's the Bhagavad Gita verse where Krishna is saying, Nimit Matru Bhava Sabhya Sachin, that, oh Arjuna, just become an instrument in my plan. One, if we can see in this line, Krishna is saying Sabhya Sachin. Sabhya Sachin means that warrior who can shoot arrows from both the hands, left and right. And it's an expertise, right? So this Arjuna, he was that expertise, he had expertise in his field of shooting arrows. But Krishna is telling him to just become an instrument in his plan. So what does that mean? That means that all the power, Krishna gives all the power, all the facilities, everything to a living entity, but now voluntarily accept the services and the desire and to execute the plan of the Lord is the free will of the living entity. Just like Arjuna exercised his free will and fought the war, although he was not inclined to do that. So that puts us on a very wonderful foundation that, a goal-driven life, a purpose-driven life is much more important to just find the happiness or to look up to search for the happiness. We can see that Arjuna was not very happy from the very beginning of chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. He didn't want to fight, but his goal was to please or to serve the Supreme Lord. And as soon as the Supreme Lord Krishna, he instructed him that it is his desire and you do it with remembrance of me. And by doing that, you will not incur any sin or any kind of problems will not come to you because you are my devotee. And this is my desire. So Arjuna, what he did? He executed the plan. He became an instrument in the execution of the divine plan of the Supreme Lord. So, and the same Arjuna and the Pandavas, we can see when Krishna left for his abode, all kinds of powers which Arjuna possessed, it just suddenly disappeared. And it comes in Srimad Bhagavatam when there is a conversation between Arjuna and Yudhishthira that Arjuna was not able to save the queens of Dwarka because he felt that his Gandiva just lost all the power. So similarly, if we mirror the same incident with Brahmaji's prayers, so Brahmaji knew that he is an instrument and he is praying to the Lord specifically in 23rd verse that please enable me so that I can just remain an instrument and there is no false prestige cover my consciousness and make me feel that I am the creator. Now we can see Brahmaji has this fear. So what to talk about ourselves? When we come in the temple, we chant, we dance, we eat prasadam, and we think, oh, I'm such a wonderful devotee, and now nothing will happen to me. No Maya is going to elude me. But Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has said that even in Kali Yuga, even in the devotee community, there are Maya Devi has sent her agents in the form of devotees. And these devotees, they are taking the right consciousness away. That's Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has said. And so it's very important to safeguard ourselves from the false pride. So what we should do? We should follow this policy I have heard in the class: sign and resign. That means sign and resign means in the morning, when we wake up, when we are doing our sadhana, we are doing our puja, if we are there in some of the positions in temple and we are supposed to execute our service, then we sign the contract with the Lord. Okay, Lord, I'm going to do this with you. And later on, at the end of the day, all the fame, all the benefits which is coming from that, performing that service, we should resign it. Or we should just sign the contract again that I am resigning from all the fruits or all the income. Fruits means all the fame, prestige, which I am getting from doing that service, just resign that. So a devotee should follow this policy of sign and resign, which is very important. Because if we are not following the resign policy and just follow the sign policy, then the benefits which come from it, because doership mentality is equal to enjoyership mentality. When we know that I have done something, then we claim on the fruits of those results, right? And we have seen in first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining that, Krishna is explaining with the help of Karma Yoga that Arjuna perform Nishkam Karma Yoga. That means detach from the fruits of your action in the spirit of responsibility. If we detach from the fruits of action in the spirit of responsibility, then there will be antahkaran shuddhi, or what is the meaning of antahkaran shuddhi? That a living entity gets to know its real position, that I am a soul full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. And from there, the living entity can enter into Jnana Marga. And then later in 7 to 12 chapters, Krishna talks about Bhakti Marga, where Daiva Varnashram system is also suggested, although it's also has been given in 4th chapter. But anyhow, so Brahmaji is praying that I don't want to get any false prestige. And in 24th, Brahmaji is saying, although my Lord, my body is of Buddhi Tattva. That means my body is Vijnana Shakti. From my body, Vedas are emanating, vibrations of Veda. But in the course of my material activities, please bless me that I may not be deviated from the vibrations of these Vedic hymns. Please protect me. That all the vibrations which are coming from my body of Vedas, I may be able to hear them and apply them in my life. And I remember in my heart all the time your pastimes, and thus I execute my duties. And in 22nd, with the starting verse, we have seen that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained in the purport that with material quality of Sattva Guna, may Lord protect my material wisdom so that I can create Prajapatis. And with your transcendental qualities or spiritual qualities, please protect my spiritual wisdom so that I can create spiritual beings like Narada Muni, and other your devotees. So devotees, they come under the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. Now that brings us to today's verse. Now in today's verse, after praying everything, after requesting all these, now we can see that how Brahmaji is so careful. He's so attentive, Brahmaji. He is not thinking that I am the supreme living creature, and because of that reason, I have been selected for the responsibility of secondary creation. Brahmaji is so scared, so fearful in all these prayers we can see. From whom? From the material energy of the Lord, from the Maya potency of the Lord. Why? Because Maya potency of the Lord is equivalent to the Supreme Lord. Devī Hesha Gunamayi Mam Maya Duratya. Right? And Canto 10th, chapter 8th. I don't remember the verse. Canto 10th, chapter 8th, there is a verse in which, not 8th chapter. I will give you the reference exactly, but in one of the purports in Canto 10, Srila Prabhupada, he is mentioning that Mother Devaki, she is the representation of bhakti, and all the 6 children who were killed, we can think that all those 6 children were of demonic nature, or all the anarthas, right? And the only qualification which Mother Devaki had to have Krishna as her child is fear of losing Krishna. I don't know what purport was that. I have to just see, because I read it. I'm 100% sure I read it. I think it's 10th canto, chapter 2 and verse 8. Yeah, I was doing 10:8 to, no, it's 10 to 8. And in this, Srila Prabhupada, actually in that commentary, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is speaking in the purport. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying a pure devotee is always in some kind of fear. He is always alert in fear. He is always alert in fear of the association of material energy. And Kamsa represents material fear. That's given in the purport. Kamsa symbolically represents the material fear. So when a pure devotee fear the material enjoyments, when a pure devotee fears the material enjoyment, at that time, all the anarthas, kam, krodh, lobh, mat, mascharya, isha, everything just get killed by that material fear. And then at that time, Lord Sankarshana, Gurudev comes in our life, spiritual master comes. So having fear from material association, having fear from a devotee should have this fear, and this fear is a healthy fear. Should have this fear that in this material world, anytime my fall down can happen, anytime I can fall down. And we can see so many examples are there in Srimad Bhagavatam, be it Bharat Maharaj or Ajamila. So many times we can see in so many places we can see that with the bad association, how the fall down can happen. And not from bad association, maybe from outside, but our own internal samskaras, which we are carrying from time immemorial, beginningness, it forces us to go back to our old habits. So it's very important to have fear. That fear is very important. And that's what Srila Prabhupada has said. The fear of fall down is very, very important. If there is no fear of fall down, if we are just very comfortable and confident that now nothing is going to harm me in my spiritual life, then definitely it's a matter of time and I am going to fall down. And that's how Brahmaji is showing his fear. And it's very important. By the activities of Sri Brahmaji, he is showing that, every devotee should have that kind of fear in his heart of falling down. And that's why when we have the fear in our heart of falling down, so we should not try to associate with those things which are unfavorable in execution of the devotional service of Krishna. It's very important. That's why last time we studied 6 limbs of Sharanagati. So one of the important limbs is don't do unfavorable things to Krishna consciousness. But if we are thinking that they are not the blockages in my path of Krishna consciousness, then definitely Maya Devi just sneak out the way in the path of the devotee, because there is a test, right? We want to just leave this material world. We want to go in the spiritual world. And as Chaitanya Charan Prabhu yesterday was saying, the difference between the Indra and Prahlada. For Indra, material world was bigger and Krishna is smaller. So if conditioned circumstances allowed me to do it, then I am going to worship. And for Prahlada, Krishna is bigger and material circumstances is very small and even almost not existent. So this fear Brahmaji is showing is very, very adequate. And now in this verse, Brahmaji is saying, oh Lord, please smile on me and wake up. Brahmaji is waking him up. This prayer, usually people use to wake up the Lord. Oh Lord, you are supreme and you are the oldest of all. So please be merciful unto me and bestow your benediction upon me by opening your lotus eyes. Please smile on me, and smiling here means please give me encouragement. And in this verse, let me just check the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur here. Maybe it's somewhere here. Yeah. So he's saying that a servant is always blissful by the merciful plans and instructions of the Lord. Because a servant knows that yesterday the topic was the same. When Lord smiles, That means this is an assurance that whatever you are praying, that means whatever you deserve and whatever problems you are having, whatever you are requesting from the Lord, if that is conducive for your own well-being, definitely Lord is going to provide those facilities, provide those Lord will definitely give you that which we want in our request. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in his commentary, opening your lotus eyes, wake up so that I will not be defeated during the creation everywhere in this universe. So I will never be defeated. And so dispel my sorrow by your sweet words, because now Brahmaji wants the Lord to speak up and dispel my ignorance. Brahmaji wants that. And dispel my doubts, my fear. And now we can, and in the purport, Srila Prabhupada in the purport has given such a beautiful purport to this. And Srila Prabhupada is saying that the Lord, he manifests himself into his expansions, his incarnation, and also in the separated, in the distinct expansions, separated expansions, which we call Jiva Tattva, right? So there is Vishnu Tattva and there is Jiva Tattva. Now, the internal Nitya Siddha Bhaktas who are always eternally associated with the Lord in the spiritual world, they are also Jiva Tattva. They are no way the Vishnu Tattva. But why there is a distinction? And these Jiva Tattva either get controlled by the internal potency or by the material potency. Jiva Goswami in his Paramatma Sandarbh says that beginningless, some of the Jivatmas, they are circling in the material world because of the not presence of the knowledge of the supreme absolute truth, Paratattvam. But this living entity, there are some living entities again in the body of Karanodakshaya Vishnu, but they are in the spiritual world, the other side of the Viraja river, where they are eternal associates of the Lord. They also come sometimes in this material world, but their purpose is certainly very different. And they always situate on the Vishuddha Sattvam, or the platform of absolute or transcendental goodness. So these living entities who are in the spiritual world, as Srila Prabhupada is giving the example of gopis, they are always Nitya Siddha Bhaktas. They are always situated into the Vishuddha Sattvam. They are in the spiritual world from time beginningless. They are they have the Samukhyam, or they are in front of the Lord. They are the eternal associates of the Lord. So why they are not Vishnu Tattva? Because Lord Krishna, he expand himself into self, into his self manifestations, and also he expand himself into distinguished expansions, which is called marginal potency, or the Jeev Tattva. And Krishna, he is saying in Srimad Bhagavad Gita also, Mameva Vancho Jeevaloke Jeevul Bhuta Sanatana is there, definitely. But Krishna is mentioning, I think it's chapter 4th, where Krishna is saying that this living entity is the spiritual energy, is spiritual energy. And there is an inferior energy, which is external energy. Oh no, chapter 7, Krishna is saying that this material energy is separated energy, and it is my separated separated expansion. But these living entities, they are spiritual and they are superior to this inferior energy, material nature. So this Jiva Tattva, which is mentioned in the purport, that Lord expand himself into the personalities who are either self-expansions or separated expansions, right? So Lord is enjoying with them. And Lord wants that there is a predominator and there is predominated. So because whenever there is a relation, there has to be two people involved, right? Now we already saw that in this also, Brahmaji is nothing but coming from the navel of the Lord. Before, Brahmaji was also a part of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So everything in Paramatma, we can see Paramatma is the cause for the material creation. From the body of Paramatma, from the body of Paramatma, his energies are transforming into the material world. Different transformations are happening. And these three modes of material nature are working. But what are these three modes of material nature? Are they separated from the Lord? No. They are again the energy of the Lord coming from the body of the Lord. Paramatma is the one who is the possessor of both the Jivatma, Karanadakshay Vishnu, both the possessor of Jivatmas as well as the this material nature, three modes of Prakriti. He is the only, when the final cosmic, total cosmic annihilation happened, everything just went inside the supreme Karanadakshay Vishnu. So he is the only one, right? And in Chatushloki Bhagavatam, we have seen that the Lord, when he, at the beginning of creation, when he is talking to Brahma, when he is talking to Brahma, and in Gopal Tapani Upanishad, it comes that actually Krishna is the one who spoke Chatushloki Bhagavatam to Brahma, right? And Krishna also is saying in one of the places that I am the one who gave the knowledge to the Brahma in the starting of the creation, in the beginning of the creation. So we have seen in 9th chapter, Canto 2nd, for Chatushloki Bhagavatam, Krishna has spoken to Brahma at the beginning of the creation. In that also, he is saying that I remain. When everything just annihilate, I remain all the time. But the spiritual world always remain. Never annihilation happen. It was never been created. It is always there. And also those eternal servants of the Lord are also there, always, all the time. So the Lord expand himself into many personalities, and that's why Prabhupada ji, Srila Prabhupada in the purport is mentioning that gopis, they are predominated expansions of the internal potency. So this internal potency of the Lord has three parts: Samvid, Sandhi, Samvid, Sandhini, and Ladini Shakti. Samvid, Sandhini, and Ladini Shakti. And this Samvit and Sandhini has their own functions, but this Ladini Shakti is the one who gives pleasure to the Lord. And this Ladini Shakti is the Srimati Radharani is the personification of this Ladini Shakti, who is always situated on Mahabhava, condensed form of Prema, right? So Srimati Radharani, she expands herself into three ways, and that's given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. She expands himself into three ways. Mahishigana, that means, who are Mahishigana? Queens of Dwarka. Lakshmi Ganas. Who are these Lakshmi Ganas? These are the Lakshmis in Vaikuntha planets. And Gopi Gana. So Radharani is the ultimate unconditional form of the Lord, condensed form of the Lord, that Mahabhava, and she just expand into these three forms. We have learned the expansion of Lord Shri Krishna. In one of the previous classes, I have explained with a diagram or with a picture representation. But Srimati Radharani also, she expand in these three forms just to give the pleasure to the Supreme Lord Krishna. And Prabhupada also says in the purport that the Lord gives the fallen souls the chance for this highest perfection of life. Now, these souls who are bereft of the knowledge of the Supreme Absolute Truth. The relationship knowledge is not there, but this knowledge is there, that I am a spirit soul, and this knowledge can also being covered by the material modes of material nature. And when there is Nishkam Karma Yoga on the side of Jnana Marga or Deva Varnashram system, where out of love we offer the fruits of our activities to Vishnu, at that time, and we do direct devotional service, hearing, chanting, associating ourselves with the devotees. And when we hear the prayers of Brahma and the fear that Brahmaji is having, although Brahmaji has experience from before also, in to create the entire cosmic manifestation. Because again, this is the 51st year, first day of Brahmaji, which is Padma Kalpa. And here Brahmaji is praying to Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Still we can see that Brahmaji has this fear. So every living entity has, after attaining specifically this human form of life, has a wonderful chance to reach up to that conceivable consciousness where this living entity can achieve the ultimate goal of this life, or ultimate goal of getting this soul into the world of into the world where there is no fear, no death, no inauspiciousness, where in this, that means in the spiritual world. So Brahmaji is praying for the Lord to bestow his blessings on him so that Brahmaji can start his performing his activity of creation. Although Brahma has done this lot of time before also, in his all 50 years also he is doing that. But Brahmaji again is praying, and Brahmaji is very fearful. So that fear of being, getting false pride, false ego, we should, as devotees, always try to guard ourselves. In Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Madhurya Kadambani, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving the different 6 types of Anishtita Bhajan Kriya. That means when we enter with a firm conviction, with a firm faith, we enter firm faith in the scriptures, we enter into this path of Vaidhi sadhana, bhakti. We have sadhu sangha, we are doing bhajan kriya, chanting, hearing, all these things we are doing, associating with devotees. But there are 6 things which just come and shake our bhajan or fluctuate our bhajan. We don't have time to go on all the 6, but the first one is Utsahamai. Utsahamai means that when we come into the Krishna consciousness, we become so enthusiastic. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this, I'm this, and I am a superman, I'm a super devotee, and I am very, very good now, right? I am all good. Now everyone will see I am a devotee, I'm Utsamai. And it's just like when we get when we get admission into a Ivy League school and we get all excited. But we have to study too. We have to get grades too to show the world that, okay, I am actually good enough for this school. So similarly, Utsahamai, when we become too much enthusiastic about the stuff, but in execution, we just fail. That is Anishtita Bhajan Kriya. And the 6th limb or 6th of the point he's saying, which is said, Tarangarangini. Tarangarangini, it's for those people who are advanced in their bhajan kriya. They are good established devotee, but still in the on the stage of bhajan kriya, and but their bhajan is also fluctuating. Why? Tarangarangini. Why? Because it's fluctuating, because now I have more responsibility. Now people know me that I am doing this service, and I am just a great devotee. I am such a great devotee. So these things makes our bhajan fluctuate. And then other, so when these things go away, then we come into the Nishtita Bhajan Kriya. That means Bhajan Kriya, which is study now. Anishtita means unstudy, study means Nishtita. So that's why we ask, oh, I'm being chanting for such a long time, nothing is happening, what's going on, right? Because still I am in unstudy Bhajan Kriya. These things are fluctuating. In Madhurya Kadambani, I think, in Madhurya Kadambani, there are 6 terms which are given, which have been given to us, right? So we can read there, and we can see with the example, from the example of Sri Brahmaji, that how Brahmaji is also scared. Although he is not in unstudy bhajan kriya position, but still he has that fear. And out of fear, he is requesting the Lord that please bestow me with the power of creating, but at the same time, I become only the instrument and not any kind of false ego just attack me. And whatever the vibration I'm hearing from the Vedas, from my own body, my mind may I keep my internal mind on that, and with externally, with the power which you are granting me, I create all the living entities. And for that reason, Brahmaji is requesting Garbhodaksha Vishnu to please wake up and smile and give me that power. And in next shloka, we are going to see that Maitreya Muni is going to speak with Vidura again. Now Brahmaji is tired by doing his prayers. And now, after that, Garbhodaksha Vishnu is going to speak up. That's it. The time is over. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak on the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam this morning. Vancha kalpatarubhyacha kripa sindhuvayeva patita nama pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Mother Mādhavi Gaurāngī. I just wanted to mention to everybody who's on here that she stepped in today to give the class originally scheduled by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu will be speaking tonight at the Bhakti Garden, 1408 South Street at 6:30 p.m. tonight. So please come down and see him again. But she stepped in to give the class on really no notice. So we thank you for doing that. And it's a very nice class on this topic of pride, our false egos, thinking about that we are the doers and becoming proud of our very minor, very little activities that we do. And you've given us some really good ideas. I like that sign and resign that you mentioned, because that brings a sense of duty that we have to act, but at the end of the day, we're signing over all the fruits of those activities. Thank you for bringing that purport, the 10th canto, chapter 2, text 8. This is a very famous purport, and I encourage every devotees to go back and look at that. And I looked it up. I had a chance while I was traveling to pull it up, and you got the right one down, 10.2.8. You were wondering if that was the right one, but when Srila Prabhupada talks about the fear, I remember him talking about a healthy fear of Maya. I've heard Srila Prabhupada use that we have to have a healthy fear of Maya, and because we are weak in that sense. We are, everyone is subjected to falling down very to the association. This is the Bhagavad Gita. It says just one of the wandering senses. The wind can actually, like a boat that's traveling, one of the wandering senses can just basically take the boat off course. It's a very, very important message that you gave. A question I had for you. So we have fear. We have to have this fear of falling down. I don't want to offend devotees, and I want to avoid material association. I always want to be in Krishna's presence. But then also there's this, a devotee also has this confidence that Krishna is my protector and will protect me at any time, because he is all that I have. So combining those two together, I'm fearful that I could fall down, but also I am endeavoring with confidence that Krishna is my Supreme Father, and therefore, Father is going to protect me. How do we combine them so that we're still trusting in Krishna and not our own strength?
So that's why the limbs of Sharanagati is saying unfavorable things. See, we have free will. The devotees also have free will. That's what I mentioned. Being instrument means using your own voluntarily free will, which has been given to all of us to use it in the service of the Lord. Now, this free will is there, and I know that Krishna is my protector. But knowing that Krishna is my protector, if I am going and associating, and scriptures or the Bhakti Shastras, what they are talking, they are, and what spiritual master is given to us, he is also a representative of the Supreme Lord Krishna, right? So if we are not following what the instructions have been given to us, we are doing otherwise. Like, there are regulations. We should not do this. But we are still doing this and thinking, oh, Krishna is my protector. So, I mean, I'm not using my free will in order to exercise that thing which Krishna wants from me or my Gurudev wants from me. If I am using my free will, and it's just like that, right? If I just go up on the roof, and from there, I'm using my free will to exercise my desire of falling down, and then from the roof, I'm falling down, and I'm saying, oh, Krishna is my protector, let me just fall down. Krishna has given me the free will to decide, right? To think that this material body, I should be using it in the service of the Lord, not from falling down. Krishna is our provider, definitely, but he is not going to intrude in our small free will, which has been given to us. And this free will also comes from the past karmas, which I have given a lecture on this, how free will and destiny both combine, right? So, but this free will is given to me, and this free will, if I am using favorably, accepting all the things, that's what has been given, that accepting all the things which is favorable to the Lord. And then avashya rakshibahu Krishna. Krishna is definitely going to protect me. And in my previous class, I have explained what is the shloka, Yoga Shemam Bahameham is talking, that Krishna maintain our connection with him. Yoga Shemam Bahameham. Krishna, that consciousness of being a devotee, Krishna always protecting the devotee. So it's very important for the devotees not to do that which is not favorable, right, for Krishna consciousness. So then we can, if I'm doing everything, in favor of executing the desire of the Lord, of my spiritual master, all the instruction, I'm following 4 regulative principles, I'm not associating with material people, definitely Krishna is protecting. And Krishna is protecting everybody. Sometimes, as you asked question last time about the in material life, when we see all these problems, right? Financial problems are there, and then the devotee just, because we are still not that steady. I'm talking about myself, not about any one of you. Devotee is not that steady in his path of bhakti, because we are still faith on karma, that I am not doing that karma, and because I'm not doing this job, so I and my family is not going to be maintained. This Shraddha, this faith, I don't have. And because of this reason, I have the entire faith on the karma. And when I have the entire faith of karma, I am still not a candidate of claiming that I am a pure devotee, because it breached the definition which has been given to us by Rupa Goswami. Jnana karmadi anavratam, right? A devotee can do karma like Bhakti Vinod Thakur was doing, but at the same time, just to set an example in the society. But from inside, don't have any faith on karma. That karma is the one who is protecting me. Anyhow, but yes, Krishna is definitely the protector. And that is the faith which a devotee should be having. We have just seen the story of Prahlad Maharaj. Yesterday, Prabhu gave such a beautiful class in Sunday feast. Such faith Prahlad had, although his situation was getting worsened by his devotion. So that's how that free will we should exercise in between. I hope I was able to explain.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, so let's just conclude our class here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha
Kalpatarubhishcha Kripasinduvyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.